and welcome to Abstract Essay, where people that are talented and well, author and innovator and something that are giving back to the world. And today I have my special guest. She's the author of the book Pieces of Me. Touch my soul. Other than me, Cyndee Dhalai. Welcome, Miss Cyndee on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Hi, Danielle. It's nice to be with you. Um,
Yes,
my book is a poetry book, actually. Pieces of Me Touch My Soul is poetry.
a poetry book. And thank you so much for sharing your poetry book to the world, Miss Cyndee, and hoping for more and more empowering poetry book to come. So tell us, what was the Catholic's moment or deep-seated need to make you this poetry book?
Actually, I always have poetry running through my mind ever since I can remember. Like when I was 11, I came across the poem If by Rudyard Kipling, and that struck me. And I was amazed that you can say so much with so few words. And I don't know how, but like I would start thinking kind of like in poetry. But over the years, life stepped in and I didn't really have time with family and kids and responsibilities and home and a job and everything. So I didn't really write much. On a few occasions, I did write, but I didn't really have time to sit down and write. And then after my husband passed away, and it was thinking about things and stuff or whatever. And then a very special friend, he asked me, he said, I want to ask you something and I need you to focus. And he asked me a question, and what came out, he said, just write whatever came to your mind. And I wrote, and what came out was a poem. And that started it. And it's like, I guess the floodgates just opened, and I just began writing poetry.
Yes, indeed, and thank you so much for writing that poetry, Miss Cindy. The title "Pieces of Me Touch My Soul" suggests a profound vulnerability. How did you grapple with the fear of sharing so many pieces of yourself with the world?
We all have pieces of ourselves that we share with others, but most of what we feel inside, we don't really feel comfortable or we're not accustomed opening up because, I mean, there's always a fear of being misunderstood, fear of being rejected, fear of opening up yourself and being vulnerable to anybody. And pieces of me, when I began writing, I realized that there's a lot more to life and a lot more to expression and acknowledging how you feel and what you see in life than what we keep bottled up inside of us. And sometimes it's good to just let what we feel flow out of us. And to be honest, all of us carry a poet inside of us because the way we express ourselves, we are all poets, whether it's in rhymes, whether it's in prose, whether it's in just abstract poetry. We do all have a poet inside of us.
Indeed, we have a poetry inside sleeping and we need to unleash. What were the central question you are seeking to answer for yourself when you began writing this poetry book?
What is there in life? Because Pieces of Me covers a lot of different aspects. It talks about your connection to who you are, what you see around you, nature, your spirituality, your divine God, and about some of the most profound experiences you would have, like love and heartache and recovering yourself when you go through bad things in life.
All about life, people. Life, life, life. Did you envision specific readers as you wrote? Who did you hope would be touched by these pieces of poetry?
Anybody who is seeking to connect to the different things about themselves, whether it's love, whether you're going through heartache, whether you want to know that there is more to life than what you're experiencing in this how and now, and that there is beauty and touches of heaven if you just look around, and also that there is a higher being who is always present for us. So it covers a variety of areas, but the central title, Pieces of Me Touch My Soul, that was meant to show that you have a lot of pieces. But once you connect to all those pieces, it does touch your soul.
Really touch your soul, people. And Miss Cindy, on process and craft of the book, the poetry seems to be blend different forms. Is it like a prose, perhaps even letters or journal entries? How do you decide on the structures and it emerge organically or was it deliberately designed?
Actually, I don't plan what I write
Mm.
because the poems just come. And sometimes I was having a conversation with friends, and the poetry, in the course of the conversations, the poems, I would write poetry, and often I don't even know what I write until afterwards when I read it, which sounds kind of odd, but that's it because I don't plan a poem. Like, I know some people can take a topic and write something about it and do it in prose, but how I write is more of my poems tend to rhyme, but they come from within me, and I have to feel what I write in order to write.
To feel within and it comes naturally. What amazing, amazing writing, Miss Cindy. And what piece in the book was the most difficult for you to, well, to write? Not technically, but emotionally. How did you get through drafting the particular section of your poetry?
The hardest part was dealing with when you lose someone, like a loss, and how your soul suffers because your soul does cry. And that was the hardest part for me, in that it just came out, and you feel it so deeply that all you want to do is cry, and all you do is feel the pain. So that was the
Yes.
hardest part for me, because at that time that I was writing about like soul loss and your soul died, I mean love died, you feel what is not, or what is no longer present in your life.
Conversely, was there a piece of flood of or out of effortlessly, as if you have been writing to be written your poetry? What is the experience like?
That is, it's personal, because writing poetry is what comes from within you. And I realized that there's a lot of vulnerability and facing yourself. The flaw was that sometimes you write and you may not like what you write because it sounds too raw and too much of who you are and what you're experiencing.
Indeed, writing a soul bearing work requires immense courage. What did your personal writing ritual look like when dealing with such a heavy and intimate material, just like your poetry?
When you write from what comes from within you, you do feel deeply. You do feel the connection to the words that flow out of you. And the process of writing itself involves all of you. You may think you're just whatever you're writing, you may think, or whatever kind of writer you are, whether you're a poet or you're an author, regardless of what genre book you write, what you write is your own thoughts, your own perspectives, your own perceptions, your own feelings, your own emotions. And that draws a lot because it can be quite draining when you have finished a piece of work. And even if you read over it, you kind of look at it and say, where did that come from?
Where does it come from? Naturally, for sure. And Miss Cindy, were there any pieces you wrote that ultimately did not make the final cut? How did you make it difficult decision?
Actually, the work that I put in Pieces of Me, the poems in there, was the first set of work that I did. I continued writing afterwards, but the book had already gone to publication because I just put the first set of things I wrote uncut, unscript. I mean, I didn't change anything in it. Exactly how they're written is exactly how they came out of me. And what is in the book is has not been changed or modified because I don't change my writing or my poetry. The grammar might change a bit and stuff like that or whatever, but what I write is how I put it out there.
How did you approach the sequencing of the pieces? Is it order in which experience them journey you carefully map out, or you do it in according to what you feel?
Um Actually, writing itself, I could write on a variety of different things in one day. Like I can write about nature, I can write about God, I can write about love, I can write about just life itself and being strong and resilient. So there isn't any order, but in the book, I was told you had to kind of put it in, it was better to put it in categories or whatever. So I kind of did that in the book itself. But in my writing, one, I mean, in the course of one day, sometimes I might write 3 or 4 poems and they might not be on the same topic. It's just what comes out of me or my feeling at a certain time or a sense of peace I might get. And that's what comes out, and that's how I write. So there isn't like, okay, I'm going to write about love, or just going to write about God, or I'm just going to write about nature or about life experiences. It's all intermingled. And just as how your day has different experiences and different feelings at no set time, do you feel the same way for an entire day? The same way my poems come out based on really connections and emotions and how I feel.
Miss Cindy, let's talk about the emotional core and discovery. The phrase touch my soul implies a two-way street. What did you discover about your own soul through the very act of writing your poetry?
That our soul really is what is guiding us, and that what we feel really is a reflection of what our soul is going through. And very often we let our emotions kind of rule us, but our soul sometimes gives us a little nudge and comfort. And we do touch our soul because our soul is always present in us. And it is silent, but it is what is leading us or guiding us to who we are supposed to become and where we are supposed to be in life. Because when you think about it, you come into a ready-made world, you are born, but there is something in you that kind of guides you to what the choices you make in life, or guides or tells you or nudges you, okay, listen, this is not right for you, or you do something and it doesn't feel right inside of you, and you know that, okay, this I don't feel good about what I'm doing, and that is your soul nudging you and telling you, okay, this is not where you're supposed to be. So you do, especially in my writing, when I do write, like, it's like the soul is speaking to you and telling you that, okay, you feeling pain, so experience it, know what it is, and see where it's coming from and how you can look around and see the other things besides seeing the disadvantages or seeing the bad things. Look at what the good things are and see how you can build yourself from where you are.
Very well said, Miss Cindy. Very well said. So tell us, Miss Cindy, as an author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Actually, I have written another book, which is called Grief is the Price You Pay for Love, after I did Pieces of Me Touch My Soul. And that book was self published, it's out on Amazon. And I have been working on other books. And my goal in not just Pieces of Me, but in all my writing is to touch people and to let them see that they're not alone in life experiences and there is hope and there is a way that you can move past and persevere and be resilient and learn to see the advantages even in your bad situations, which a lot of us, I mean, it may sound strange, but there are advantages in when bad things happen to you. And to really let people know that there's someone who understands and who has gone through things with them and that they are unique and they are special. And there is a purpose, whether they know it or not, for their very presence in life because there's only one of them and they were in life for a reason.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Cindy, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
You may get a lot of life experiences and you will encounter a lot of different people's opinions, but you should never let what other people think or your life experiences determine your expectations of life and of who or determine who you are because there is only one of you in the entire world and you matter and you are unique and what you feel in you and what you are drawn to is important because it is who you are. And it's important to honor yourself and to respect yourself and to value your own worth.
Thank you for that advice, Miss Cindy. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Excuse?
Yes, books that influence your journey.
I don't really have any books that influence my journey, to be honest with you. Um, because I read horror books, which is like directly opposite to what I write.
Hmm.
And my genre of writing has never been really, um, I guess, influenced by any other writers because I just started writing from what I feel in me.
Yes, so let's do talk about the uncompletion and impact of your book. What does the word completion feel like for a project of this personal poetry of yours? What is the sense of relief, loss, pride, or something else entirely?
Um, when you complete, like when I completed Pieces of Me and all the other books, all the other manuscripts that I did, it's a sense of relief. It's a sense of wrapping up a part of yourself or reaching a certain milestone within yourself that, okay, I felt this pulling me and I went through with it and I persevered and I started at the beginning and I reached the end and now it is a finished work and I can see where I have progressed. And so it's a sense of you feel completed, you feel finished, you feel a sense of satisfaction that you completed something that you set out to do. And it also is a stepping stone to giving you a sense of confidence to move forward and to keep doing what you feel in you and keep pouring out what words come out of you on paper or on a manuscript or whatever, or in poetry or in a book, you are confident in that I did this and now I can do this because I know my ability now, and I know that I have the strength and the perseverance to finish what I start.
Miss Cindy, if you could go back and give your pre-writing self one piece of advice before embarking on this journey, what would it be?
When words come into you, start writing.
Yes,
Because
start
for
to write.
years and years and years, like I had the words, and you can't go back and retrieve what you thought about or what you wanted to write about or the things that float through my mind. I can't go back because I can't remember from since then all the words that I had written in my head before.
Yes. So, Miss Cindy, having given so much of yourself to this book, how do you now define the boundary between private you and a public author?
There is no real boundary between private and public to me, because how I am is how I've always been. So my words are just a reflection of how I've always spoken my entire life and how I've always been my entire life. It's just that I put the words now in a written form. And sometimes we have to realize that what we carry inside of us can also make a connection to other people, and that your words can be a source of support, because words are the most powerful tools that we have, whether it's written or spoken.
Well, indeed, very well said, Miss Cindy. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review, Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Cindy, the book is now a tangible object. Separate from you, what is does it feel like to have these pieces of your soul existing independently, touching others in the ways you never know?
Actually, I am very humbled by the whole thing, in that it can be a source of help, it can be a source of support, it can be a source of comfort to other people, because on the reviews that I've gotten from it on Amazon, both the US and abroad, it a lot of people who have written reviews have stated that, because I mean I didn't really check reviews until recently and then I realized that, wait, what people write, I mean, I was actually stunned and I was humbled that people could see the things that I wrote and it can touch them like that way, because that was my intention. And a lot of people said they found support and they loved the writing and they got inspiration from it. And a lot of writers also, like, they mentioned that it helped them, like, focus on their own work. So it was a humbling experience, and it's also, you do feel a sense of satisfaction in that you are helping people and doing what you set out to do, because that was my intention with the book, to uplift and to help people and to give support to people.
Miss Cindy Dhalai, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Well, Pieces of Me is on Amazon.com by Cyndee. And there's also Grief is the Price You Pay for Love by Faye Allen, which is also on Amazon.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Cyndee Dhalai because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Cyndee, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Danielle, for having me.
But come, people, see you soon.